Since 2015, I've actually seen house and land packages outweighing the benefits more than the cons of purchasing one. Now, I'm not saying all house and land packages are good. Some will take longer to develop and for the price and capital growth to take place. So you have to work out your cash flow when you're buying a house and land package and obtaining a land and a construction loan, especially when you're renting or you already got an existing mortgage that you're living in. Good day everyone, it's Tony here, your host for another episode of the Mortgage Chat. And today I want to talk about home and land packages. Why do I want to talk about home and land packages? Well, we still get that perception where a lot of people believe that buying a house and land package is actually a bad investment because it's overpriced. But I beg to differ. I've been in the industry since 2015. I've seen the goods of buying a house and land package, and I've also seen the bads of purchasing a house and land package. Now since 2015, I've actually seen house and land packages outweighing the benefits more than the cons of purchasing one. Now, I'm not saying all house and land packages are good. Some are duds, or some will take longer to develop and for the price and capital growth to take place. So why don't I think house and land packages are actually a bad investment? Well, if you purchased a block of land that's unregistered and still greenfield at an early stage of its cycle, you would have purchased a property at a very low rate before everyone started flocking to the area, and also the developer hiking up the prices because of the demand is increasing and at later stages of the releases of the blocks of land. So if you see a big developer like Stocklands or Lendlease going in to develop the area, well, that's already a good sign that something big is going to happen, because they don't make crappy master plans around the area. And if you see a Coles or a Woolworths around the area within that master plan that they're developing, and that's actually a very good sign where they believe good things and big things are going to happen around the area. And another few things to look out for is infrastructure. Is there a train station going to be in place? Is there schools? Is there big shopping centers? Is there a busway? All takes into account of the overall picture of how this area is going to be developed. So let's drill down into the pros and cons of purchasing a house and a land package. Now let's talk about the pros of purchasing a land and house package. The first thing that pops into my mind is when you purchase land at the very early stages of the development, it's most likely you're going to purchase the property when the dollar per square meter is at its lowest. Once everyone starts being attracted to the area and there's more demand and they start releasing stage 2, 3, 4, and 5, you'll actually see the dollar per square meter actually increase and it's going to cost more. So getting in early, you're actually getting a discount. And I'm going to give you a quick example on myself. So I purchased a house and land package in the Shell Harbour region in New South Wales back in 2016. Back then, dollar per square meter on a block of land was about $650 per square meter. Fast forward, now that's 2023, we're actually seeing blocks of land being sold for around $1,100 to $1,200 per square meter. And the main reason for this is the area is being developed, and you see more people from outside the area actually moving to a nicer, newly developed area where they're actually now willing to pay a premium for. So the second thing is committing to purchase the block of land and waiting for it to register. When you buy a block of land that's unregistered, more than likely it's going to take time for the developer to get plans approved from the local council. Getting it subdivided, getting all the civil works done. This could take 12 to 18 months, sometimes even 24 months. Therefore, I can put my 5 or 10% deposit down today, wait for the 2 years, and within that 2 years, I can actually let the property grow in value without doing much. The only thing I had to do was fork out that 5 or 10% deposit and let the growth ride itself with no loan. And I'm going to give you a quick example of a client of mine that purchased in Kellyville back in 2020. So he signed a contract to purchase the block of land for $800,000 back in 2020. Fast forward, 13 months down the track, we've done a valuation on the property. The land itself, the value actually went up to $980,000, and that was a bank valuation. Therefore, his value actually went up by $180,000 within 13 months of purchasing and signing the contract. Back then, he only had to put 10% down, which was $80,000 at the time. And in 13 months' time, he actually increased his value by $180,000. So the third thing is stamp duty. Stamp duty is only payable based on the value of the land, which will be significantly lower than purchasing an already built existing home. Because homes during then, call it 2021, 2022, a two-story house in North Kellyville would have cost you anywhere between $1.7 million to $2 million. Therefore, stamp duty would have been calculated based on a $1.7 to $2 million value. Therefore, purchasing land only upfront can reduce the stamp duty cost significantly. And the fourth thing is, I have time to save up for the remainder of the deposit if I have a long settlement date. And let me give you a quick example. Let's say today I only had 10% deposit, but settlement is not till another 24 months. So therefore, I have 24 months to save up the other 10% deposit before settlement. And why? So I can eliminate the need to pay lender's mortgage insurance if I don't have to. And also in hope that the value of the property increases as well. So let's now talk about the cons of purchasing a house and land package. So the first thing was, remember what I told you? House values, in this instance, land value can increase if there's a long settlement. But however, it can also decrease in value. So I'm going to give you a quick example. Back in 2016, when Box Hill, the Gables were first released, I had a client that purchased a block of land for $710,000 back then. And back then, that was a lot of money just for a block of land. 18 months down the track, when the land was ready for settlement, the valuation actually came back 10% lower than the purchase price. Therefore, the client had to fork out the difference of 10% out of his own pocket. And the reason why it came back 10% lower had a couple of factors in it. Number one, it was probably already sold at an inflated price back then. Number two, there was barely any demand back then for land. Number three, the area wasn't developed yet. But hey, look at Box Hill now. It's fully developed. A lot of houses are being built, majority of the land is being sold and built on as well. So the second thing is a delayed settlement. Let's say, for example, I signed a contract today and I believe the real estate agent that settlement was going to happen in 12 months' time. But from experience, I've always seen land settlements being delayed by 6 to 12 months. And that could mess up the plans, such as you're currently renting, you need to sell your house, and you want to build ASAP before the build prices go up. And which brings me to my third con of a house and land package, the building contract. So with the building contract, it's separate from the land contract. And the building contract is an agreement you have with the builders, call it Metricon, call it Lily Homes, call it Rawson, whatever you want to call it, where there's a clause in the contract where it says you have to start building in a certain period of time. And after this period of time, if you don't start building yet, your build cost actually gets increased. And I've actually seen building prices and building costs in the contract actually increase by anywhere between 3 to 10% because the developer delayed on the registration of the land. So that is another con, and a pretty big one as well. Lastly, is actually cash flow. So when you settle on a block of land, you got a loan there already. You have to pay the repayments on it. And what comes after that is actually the construction loan, where you'll have anywhere between 5 to 7 progress payments. So within a building contract, you'll have a progress payment schedule. And every time the builder does a job, they'll invoice you, you have to provide that to the bank, and the bank will pay that invoice to the builder, and therefore your loan will get bigger and bigger every time when there's an invoice that's submitted for the payment for whatever job the builder has completed. So essentially, you'll have a land loan where you're already paying repayments on. And with the construction loan, which is a separate loan, let's call it loan number 2, it actually gets bigger and bigger every time the builder invoices you for the job they've done. So essentially, you're going to pay 2 loans at the same time with no rental income, or you're renting and you still have to pay these loans. So your cash flow might be stuffed purely because of that. You got an additional expense of repayment. So therefore, you have to work out your cash flow when you're buying a house and land package and obtaining a land and a construction loan, especially when you're renting or you already got an existing mortgage that you're living in. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. That was just a quick overview on the pros and cons of purchasing a house and land package. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time, and thanks for joining me on this episode of the Mortgage Chat. Have a great day.